Good morning. I'm Katie from Flourish and Bloom in Monterey Bay Meditation Studio. This month is National Meditation Month, and so I've been doing these meditations every week all year, but it brings me a lot of joy to be offering this support during this month as well. So you might have noticed the title of this meditation, which is being with ugly in quotes, emotions. And the reason I'm calling them ugly emotions is because of the type of emotions I'm talking about are the ones that maybe even just having them makes us feel bad or wrong or ugly or kind of less than. I'm talking about, and for all of us, they might be different, what we feel, and kind of emotions we don't feel allowed to have. Emotions like anger or rage, emotions like resentment, bitterness, jealousy or envy. And I was thinking the other day about what differentiates these. I mean, there are a lot of difficult emotions. Some that I didn't mention might be fear or grief, sadness, loneliness. And yet, I feel like often when we're in those emotions, the fear, the grief, the sadness, there's maybe a sense that or a little more sense that everyone can feel that way sometimes, or that that it's that we might be able to access some self-compassion, but some of these other ones, the ones I'm calling the ugly emotions, we they tend to bring out our judgment that that maybe we shouldn't. We know that our best selves are a lot more open and wise and loving than this, and yet we experience them. We experience jealousy, scorn, that just prickly, just annoyed feeling, and so I wanted to have a meditation, and this will be still a rather short meditation, probably 15 minutes or so, on being with these emotions. They are part of our human experience, even though maybe we wish they were not, or even though sometimes we might think we can kind of just push our way through them or wish them away. But they are part of our experience. And so they, just like anything else, can be held in mindful awareness. And so that's what this meditation will be focusing on. So go ahead and get yourself into a comfortable posture, lying down, sitting, even standing if you'd like. And I'll begin by ringing the bell. So we begin by just letting ourselves settle in. I find it helpful here to take a few deeper breaths, kind of like hitting a reset button, a kind of message to myself. You're here now. You're here in stillness. Letting the body be still and letting yourself feel the waves of the breath. Feeling the breath that comes in and goes out, that is here with us, whether we pay attention or not, whether we're feeling great or in the middle or blah, whatever we're feeling, the breath is still there, available. And now I just invite you to access one of these emotions. Any of the ones that I mentioned before perhaps struck a chord, reminded you of something. It's possible that there's one of these emotions very handy right now, right here. Or it's possible that maybe you need to go looking in the past a little bit and think about, when did I last feel angry or resentful or jealous? Just taking a moment to allow something to come to mind. Letting yourself be with that emotion, be with yourself in that emotion. Perhaps it's something that's very close at hand that you are actually experiencing in real time right now. Perhaps it's very vivid. Perhaps it's a memory where you can kind of get a sense, sort of what it felt like. In a sense, what we're doing here is practice. There will be times when these emotions arise, and so practicing being with them, being with ourselves. There's an acronym that is often used for dealing with difficult situations or emotions, which is RAIN. And the R of RAIN is recognize. Recognizing that there is a difficult emotion here. It might be helpful to label it. It might simply just be helpful to just call it out generally, that I'm experiencing difficulty here in my emotions. And this recognizing is then followed by the A in RAIN, allow. It's important to note that allowing is accepting. It's open to the current reality that this emotion exists, that you're feeling this wave of emotion right now. It doesn't mean enjoying the emotion. It's not a pretending in that way. It also doesn't mean that that we're sinking into it, or letting ourselves be kind of consumed. We're very aware right now. So allowing simply means dropping the resistance. Because often what is true about this experience is that it's especially difficult for us because there's that judgment or resistance along with it. I am angry, I'm feeling angry, and perhaps I feel it's wrong to be angry, or I feel like I'm not then a kind or good person if I experience anger. But in allowing, we can perhaps already begin to bring in some elements of self-compassion where we note that every human experiences these emotions. And we're human, and so we have experiences like this. It's like this. And we're already blending into the I of rain, which is investigate. And here there are really riches to investigate. We can investigate what exactly it feels like to be in the wave of this emotion. What does it feel like in the body? Perhaps there's a tightness somewhere, a tightness in the chest or the jaw, some kind of a clenching around the emotion. Perhaps there's a heaviness in the body. Letting yourself investigate what it feels like right now. We can investigate what else is here. As I mentioned, perhaps I'm feeling one strong emotion and then on top of it a layer of shame to be feeling it at all, or of fear of what will happen if someone finds out. We can begin to distinguish between these layers. The complexity. We might also investigate, sort of inquire. There may be questions that arise. Perhaps something like, what has me kind of hooked in right now? What has me stirred up? Often below these difficult emotions, something else is hidden, something very tender and vulnerable that we really don't want to know about. Perhaps below jealousy and envy is a fear that I won't have enough or I won't be enough. When I think about this investigation, I see kind of an image of a ball of yarn that has become knotted up. And that what we're doing here is just a kind of a little pulling apart. We haven't untangled it all. We're not solving everything. But we're just gently creating space. Bringing in this really essential quality of curiosity amid the acceptance. This is here, and what is it like? How does it feel? Perhaps where is it coming from? As we do this, we begin to get a bit of space too between the emotion and our self, yourself, myself, because in fact they're separate. That's not to say that the emotion doesn't exist or isn't valid, but simply that we are not our emotions. And that is the N of rain, non-identification. Meaning that we resist this urge to tie ourselves so closely. Rather than I am angry or I am resentful, I'm feeling this just now in this moment. The next moment could be different. It's this realization, relief actually, of knowing that just like the breath is a wave that comes in and goes out, the emotions that we feel are like strong waves as well. No matter how strong they are, no matter the powerful energy that we can feel in the body and the mind and the heart, they do pass through, they do vary in intensity. So everything changes, and while these emotions are a part of us, they're not the whole story. In this whole meditation, there's this thread of awareness where we can actually recognize what we're feeling. We can investigate it. And the whole fact that we're able to do that means that in some sense, there is more to us than this emotion. There's that wise part, that questioning part. So although we're experiencing, we're a participant, we're also able to observe. And if I could add another N to rain, it would be nourish. With all of this recognition of what we're experiencing, not forgetting to offer a sense of kindness, friendliness to ourselves. The very reason we back away from these emotions so fiercely is that they're painful, and the judgment around them is painful too. Just knowing, if we could get away from it, if we could be feeling something different, we would. So we're doing the best that we can as humans. If a friend or a child came to us and told us of their anger or their jealousy, we would probably feel a sense of compassion for them. I'm sorry that you have to be feeling this right now. May it pass quickly. May you be well. And so offering that same kindness to ourselves. As you sit here, feeling your breath, knowing that there is courage in being with yourself. There's courage in refusing to abandon yourself at the times when you feel most ugly or wrong. There's courage in cultivating friendliness, curiosity. In a moment, I'll ring the bell. Thanks for being here. You might find that using this acronym of RAIN has this effect of even kind of diminishing the strength of the emotion, because we stop kind of tying ourselves so closely with it. We stop putting so much energy into it and the resistance and the judgment all around it. And so we actually stop stirring it up. As Pema Chodron talks about, we stop kicking the wheel, that it's still going, but it loses some of its momentum. And so we're not trying to get rid of it. Really what we're trying to do is just to be with it. But it so happens that we can often feel a little bit more ease. And so I wish that for you and for me. And I'll see you next week.